Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in the last session, we have started discussing about law of chemical combinations. Means whenever if you consider the formation of a compound, how compounds are formed when elements combine in a fixed ratio by mass. Okay, when elements combine in a fixed ratio by mass, resultant will be compound. So here that formation of compound can be better understood with the help of law of chemical combinations. Well, so one among them we already considered law of okay definite proportion, or sorry, the law of conservation of, what is the first one we considered? Law of conservation of mass. So according to this law, what it says, mass mass of the universe remains constant, or I can say mass neither can be created nor destroyed, but one form of mass can be converted into another form. Okay, well, now in this session we are going for the next law. What is that? Law of definite proportions. Okay, ಈಗ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, the next law of definite proportions. Now here we try to understand the meaning here. Definite means definite proportions. Definite proportion means definite, meaning we can say fixed, right? Definite means fixed. Well, this law of definite proportion, or it is also called law of definite composition. To understand it better, we go with an example. Say for example, water. We know the composition of water, right? H2O is the formula. Now, when I consider the sources of water, whether we have only one source for water? No. In nature, there are different sources available for a water, right? Yes, I can consider lake is a source of water. We can collect water from lake. So I consider lake is one of the source for water. I can consider oceans, seas. Yes, these also one of the source of a water, right? And even in laboratory, during a chemical reaction, it is possible to get water. So yes, I considered here different sources of a water. So from lake, ocean, and laboratory. Now, say we have collected water from different sources, and if I look at the composition, okay, if I look at the composition of water collected from different sources. So water means, yes, there will be hydrogen and there will be oxygen. So I have collected water from different sources. So if we calculate the mass percentage, what I'm looking for? I'm looking for mass percent of individual components. So mass percent is equal to mass of element. Okay, mass of that element divided by mass of the compound, or we can say molecular mass of compound into 100, which gives the mass percent of individual elements. So here for water, what is the molecular mass? 18 gram, right? 18 gram. Say hydrogen, what is the mass of hydrogen here? 2 gram. And what is the mass of oxygen here? 16 gram. Now if we calculate the mass percentage of hydrogen and oxygen in water, which is collected from different sources, yes, with the help of simple formula, say mass percentage of hydrogen is equal to 2 divided by 18 into 100. It will be 11.11%. Similarly, mass percentage of oxygen is equal to 16 divided by 18 into 100. So how much it is? It will be 88. Okay, 88.89% by mass, or I can say weight. So, see here, I have collected water from different sources, but what about the composition? Yes, water molecule, that is water. A molecule of water always contains 11.11%. Okay, 11.11% by weight of hydrogen and 88.89% by weight of oxygen always. Means, is there any change in the composition, or I can say, okay, mass percent of individual elements which is collected from different sources. So though water is collected from different sources, what about its composition? composition remains same. What is the composition for water here? 11.11% by weight of hydrogen and 88.89% by weight of oxygen present. Therefore, what we are saying, see here, any pure compound, if I consider any compound, see it always contains the same element in a definite proportion. Definite, why we are saying definite means is always going to contain a fixed proportion. Therefore, we say a definite proportion by weight, irrespective of its sources. Okay, any pure compound always contains same element in the definite proportion by weight, irrespective of its source, is called law of definite proportion, or it is also called law of definite composition. Okay, you got it. So what is the law? The law of definite proportion, or the law of constant proportion, which is proposed by Joseph Proust. And what the law says, a given compound always contains exactly the same proportion of elements by weight, irrespective of its sources. Okay, so already one example I have considered water. We can collect water sample from different sources, but is going to contain always a definite proportion of elements by weight. Similarly, cupric oxide, CuO, a pure water obtained from different sources such as river, wells, sea, oceans, etc. always contains hydrogen and oxygen combined together in the ratio of 1:8. Okay, by mass. Well, we look for one more example here. Say, what is that example? 1.375 gram. How much? 1.375 gram of copper oxide or cupric oxide was reduced by heating in a current of hydrogen, and weight of copper remained was 1.098 gram. So first, what the first sentence says, 1.375 gram of cupric oxide means say CuO. Cupric oxide is heated in presence of what? Heated in presence of current of hydrogen gas. On heating, how much copper remained here? Copper remained is 1.098 gram. What about oxygen? Oxygen will be lost here. Say oxygen is lost. Oxygen is lost in the different form. It may be in the form of moisture. So on reaction with the hydrogen content, it will be removed in the form of water molecules, moisture content. Well, say how much cupric oxide taken? 1.375 gram of cupric oxide is taken, and on heating, on that is it was reduced by heating in current of hydrogen. Weight of copper remained how much? 1.098 gram of copper remained. So copper is not going to evaporate, okay, because of its high melting and boiling point. It remains in its state. Only the oxygen will be evaporated in the form of moisture, which means here, say 1.375 gram of cupric acid is taken. On heating, what happens? 1.098 gram of copper remained. Whatever the difference will be oxygen, right? The difference gives the weight of a oxygen. Well, this is the one experiment. Second experiment, in another experiment, okay, 1.179 gram of copper was dissolved in the nitric acid, and the resulting copper nitrate converted into cupric oxide by ignition. Well, this is the first experiment. Second experiment, what they are doing? First, they have taken copper, a solid copper. How much copper taken? 1.179 gram of copper was taken, and is dissolved in what? Is dissolved in nitric acid, HNO3, so aqueous nitric acid. And dissolving, what happens? There will be formation of, okay, copper nitrate CuNO3 taken twice. Copper nitrate is formed. Well, copper nitrate is formed here. this copper nitrate on ignition means copper nitrate on heating, on excessive heating, what happens? There will be formation of a cupric oxide. They are saying cupric oxide is formed. Say now second experiment, what they are doing? Copper is converted into cupric oxide. Now the weight of cupric oxide formed, the weight of cupric oxide formed will be 1.476 gram. Simple logic here. So how much copper they have taken? 1.179 gram. How much cupric oxide they obtained? 1.476 gram, which means again here also the difference between these two values gives weight of a oxygen. Yes or no? Yes. Say in another experiment, 1.179 gram of copper was dissolved in nitric acid, and the resulting copper nitrate converted into cupric oxide by ignition. Okay, the weight of cupric oxide formed is 1.476 gram. Show that these results illustrate the law of constant proportions. Okay, I hope you got this analogy well. Now we go for the solution part. Now, so in the first experiment, what we said, weight of cupric oxide, how much? 1.375 gram, right? And how much copper obtained? 1.098 gram. So as I said, the difference, weight of oxygen present will be the difference of those values, 1.375 gram minus 1.098 gram. So it is 0.277 gram. What it is? It is the weight of oxygen present. Hence, percentage of oxygen in cupric oxide. Now, as I said, how to calculate percentage? Percentage means, say, mass of, or you can say weight of that element, weight, mass of element, okay, mass of element divided by molecular weight of the compound into 100. It gives the percentage. Well, here is the one way, or else in another way, how we can calculate weight of the compound. Okay, weight of the element divided by weight of the, okay, that element divided by weight of compound into 100. It also gives weight of element divided by weight of compound into 100. It also gives the percentage. Now here how much oxygen present? 0.277 gram, okay, divided by what is the weight of compound? 1.375 into 100. So how much? 20.14%. What it is? It is the percentage of oxygen. Well, in the second experiment also, so how much copper taken? 1.179 gram. How much copper oxide formed? It is the 1.476 gram, right? Now here oxygen present. Weight of oxygen 1.476 minus 1.179 gram. So it is 0.297 gram. Here also if we calculate percentage of oxygen in cupric oxide, again weight of oxygen divided by weight of compound into 100. 0.297 divided by 1. Okay, 1.476 into 100. Now what is again 20.12%. So in the first experiment, percentage of oxygen is 20.12%. In the second experiment also, the percentage of oxygen is 20.12%. What it mean? Here percentage of oxygen is same in both the cases. Therefore, I can say the law, it obeys the law of constant proportions or law of definite proportions. Okay, well, now coming to the next one, next law, that is law of multiple proportions. What is the next law? Law of multiple proportions. Well, here this law of multiple proportions, if I consider, say according to this law, if two elements combine to form two or more than two compounds. So what it says, if two elements combine to form more than one type of compound, or else I can say two or more than two compounds, then masses of one element, masses of one element that combines with the fixed mass of another, masses of one element which combines with the fixed mass of another are in a simple, okay, are in the ratio of small whole numbers, or you can say are in the simple whole number ratio. I repeat the statement, what it says. When, okay, when two elements combine to give, okay, two or more than two compounds, then masses of one element that combines with the fixed mass of other element are in the ratio of small whole numbers. Okay, well, it can be understood with an example. So consider hydrogen, okay, plus oxygen. It can, they, when hydrogen combines with oxygen, they can give water molecule or as well as hydrogen peroxide. So H2 plus half of O2 gives rise to H2O. Right? So here mass of hydrogen H2 means 2 gram, half of O2 means 16 gram. Right? Say is the one reaction. Then if I consider formation of hydrogen peroxide, H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O2, right? H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O2. Now here hydrogen, how much? 2 gram. O2 means it is 32 gram. So now what I'm specifying is, say these masses. When two elements, I considered only hydrogen and oxygen. When two elements combine to give two or more than two type of compounds. Is a one type of compound. H2O2 is another type of a compound. In such cases, masses of one element, that is mass of a oxygen, mass of one element which combines with the fixed mass of other are in a simple whole number ratio, or in the ratio of, okay, small whole numbers, which means here I have to consider masses of a oxygen, that is 16. In hydrogen peroxide, how much? 32. So what is the ratio? Say masses of oxygen 16 gram and 32 gram, which combine with what? Which combine with the fixed mass of hydrogen. How much? 2 gram. We are a simple integral ratio. How much it is? 16. 16 is to 32, which means what is the simple ratio? 1 is to 2. Right? So what the law says? Law of multiple proportions. When two elements combine to give more than one type of compound, or I can say two or more compounds, in such cases, masses of one element, okay, which combines with the fixed mass of another are in a simple whole number ratio. Well, I hope it's clear for you, right? Now, I consider one more example here. Say hydrogen and oxygen are known to form two compounds. Okay, hydrogen and oxygen are known to form two compounds. The hydrogen content, the hydrogen content in one of these is 5.93%. How much hydrogen present in one compound? So in one compound, the percentage of hydrogen is 5.93%. Okay, well, while in the other compound, in the second compound, it is percentage of hydrogen is 11.2%. Okay, show that this data illustrate the law of multiple proportions. Now here, how many elements present in the compound? Hydrogen and oxygen, right? So hydrogen in the first case, hydrogen is 5.93%, they are saying. Then what about remaining? Remaining will be oxygen, right? Oxygen, and it will be rest 100 minus 5.93 will be the oxygen. Similarly, in the second compound, percentage of oxygen will be 100 minus 11.2%, right? So that we get here percentage of both the compounds. Yes or no? Yes. We try to understand it. Say in the first compound, how much hydrogen? 5.93%. Well, what about oxygen then? It will be 100 minus 5.93%. That is 94.07% is the oxygen. Yes. So in the second compound, hydrogen, how much they said? 11.2%. Then what about oxygen? It will be 100 minus 11.2. That is 88.8%. Yes or no? So in the first compound, the number of parts by mass of oxygen that combines with the one part mass of hydrogen. So here 94.07 divided by 5.93, 15.86 parts. What it is? It is the number of parts by mass of oxygen that combines with 1 parts by mass of hydrogen will be 15.86 parts. Then similarly, if you go for in the second compound, the number of parts by mass of oxygen that combines with the 1 part by mass of hydrogen. So 88.8% divided by 11.2%. So it will be how much? 7.9%. So the ratio of masses of oxygen, the ratio of masses of oxygen that combined with the fixed mass of hydrogen, one part I have considered. So in the first we got 15.86, in the second we got 7.9, which means what is the simple ratio? It is in the ratio of 2 is to 1. Therefore we can say here this ratio is a simple whole number ratio, hence the given data illustrate the law of multiple proportions. Okay. With this, I'm going to conclude about this session. Again, in the next session, we go for remaining part. Okay. Thank you. Be safe.